So this is where we had left off, right? We had kind of, hopefully you've understood what we are trying to do. So I'm trying to now work with the database, bottom line, right? The database has some tables. Of course, tables have fields and you have data. So now what are the operations that you do with data in a table? You may be adding new records. You may be updating existing records. You may be deleting existing records. That's what you do, right? CRUD, right? That's what you do. So now we have to see, okay, now how do I make this experience easy for the user? So you're now creating an interface, the front end, and your back end, your database is your back end. Your data is all there. ADO.NET is taking care of all the software, the API that is taking care of what you're trying to do with your database. Keep in mind, a data set has been created for you, and that data set has a copy of the data in the tables. Okay, so that's what it has. So any changes you make, and if you hit save, of course, you'll say from where are these buttons coming? I'll show you in a while. Let's quickly go through it now. Now, it's as easy as drop and drag. So what I did, I just created a form. I mean, there was nothing much I did with it, but we kind of did our usual stuff of centering it and all that, making it the right size and so on. And maybe it's not the right size yet, but let's see. Now, suppose you wanted to create an interface in which the user could look at all the records in the customer table and if required, make changes, add a new record, delete, update, or whatever, right? This is all you do. By default, if you kind of just select a table and click on this arrow, notice how it says data grid view, details, and none. By default, data grid view is its default. It looks like a table. Do this, please. Take this table and just drop it on your form. Right? All I did was I took the table and I dropped it on the form. I'm going to kind of give it a bigger size. Go beyond it, you will see you can do a lot with it, but in its easiest form, I'll show you. Notice how by default you can browse the records. Notice this, you can go 0, 1, 2, you can browse the records. You can add a new record. You can delete a record and you can save a record. And you say, what about update? Update, you just go to the record, change, and then hit save. So now, please notice a few things that have been created for you in the component tray. That's what is important. The MMA data book data set is basically your data. The binding source says to which table are you bound? What are these fields bound to? These fields that I see on the screen, what are they bound to? There is a shorthand. We'll come to it. There is a key right here, and I'll come and show you. So notice what it says. If you don't, all you want is the user can only browse the table, only look through the table. Then you can remove, enable adding, editing, and deleting. Remove the check marks, and the user cannot add, update, or delete the data. So now it only becomes a read-only table, right? If you say I'll allow adding but not editing and deleting, remove the check marks. What is enable column reordering? Enable column reordering means when the data is visible, the user can change the order of the columns. That's what it means. That's enable reordering. Okay. If you want to edit any of these columns that are coming up, we'll just go edit columns. You got some columns and now you want to add a new column, a calculated column, or a column from another table, you can use add column. So we'll go through all of these in a minute. And I'll tell you what an add query is also. I'll also come to that in a minute. Okay. Okay, so let's look at this. What has happened? So what is important is I want you to kind of pay attention to these 5 components that have come in the component tray. The customers adapter table. Now again, they have their use, and you can read those use. I can't remember them off my head, but I can give you a general picture. The customer binding source simply means, and again, their properties. If you click on it, notice how the properties come on the right-hand side. What is it saying? It's saying its name is customer binding source. What is the data member? What are you using? You are using the customers table. What data source are you using? You are using MMA books data set. Remember, this books data set was created for you when you were creating that data set, which tables to bring in and so on. Okay, now I don't know why it has a small m here. So maybe there's a difference between this data set and what it kind of, oh yeah, because this data set contains everything and this one only has the customer table. Therefore, there is a small m. Maybe that's how it differentiates. The table adapter. The table adapter's job is to take the data from the table and when you run your application and fill the data here. That's the use of this object called customers data adapter. I'll in a minute show you when in the code where it is using. And the manager, the difference between adapter and manager, if you had more than one table showing on the same form and they were related to each other, this takes care of any constraints, foreign key constraints and so on. That's the job of this manager, right? Right now I don't have it, but suppose I got the state table. In the state table, anytime I change the name of the state, the abbreviation is there, the name changes. This is kind of not affecting it, but the customer table says, oh, it has changed. The manager will take place, that the referential constant will always take place. So you cannot have a state in the customer table that is not present in the state table. So you can't use a state AB. Maybe AB is a name in US state. Alabama is AB, I think. Anyway, so suppose it is something like UY, which is not a state, and you change it in the state table. The old name was UV, and now you've changed UY. Since this is a foreign key in the customer table, it should change in the customer table also. That's the job of the manager. The manager takes care that if foreign keys change, I mean, if the values in the foreign key columns change, they're also reflected back in the other table. That's its job. And the binding navigator is this navigator. This is the job of this binding and navigator to create this navigator bar for you. If you don't want it, so suppose you're not allowing, but I still need the front and back. But anyway, suppose if you're not allowing, you don't want to show it, all you do is you take this and you delete it and it will go away. So don't delete it because we need it. But if you don't want the navigator, you just select it, delete, and the navigator will go on off from your form. Okay, so now what is this doing? I'll just run it for you. First, I'll run it for you. So all I did was I dropped and dragged the customer table from your data set onto my application. And look what I have. I have the table. Right now, you have the option of going to the first record, going to the last record, going through any of them, going to the 40th record, and so on, right? As you would do. You can also add a new record. You can also delete a record. How do you delete it? Select it. And then go delete. How do you add it? You go add new. And then here. Now the problem, and let me tell you what the problem is here. Notice, why do I see a -1 there? This field in the customer table, the customer ID field in the customer table, is actually a auto increment integer field. So if it is an auto increment field, it doesn't let you add a record like this. You'll say, then how do I add it? I'll show you how you can add it. I'll make it a read-only field and then I don't have to give its value. Okay. So when you try to add a record here, and if I try to add it, I can change that -1. And if I try to add it, for example, my own Anju Chawla or whatever and so on, and I say, okay, save it, it's going to give me an exception because the exception is not handled by me. It's kind of coming in this box, but I'll show you how to handle exception. It says you can do this. The following exception occurred. Null is not allowed in address. Oh, address, you cannot leave null. And it will always tell you, also tell you things like, which we don't know about the table, but of course, if you are doing an application, you will know everything about the table, but it is saying you can't leave the address value null. So that's what it is saying, and it doesn't add it. But the problem in this is also that this table, this table has a customer field, which is an auto increment field, and I can change it. You'll say, what do I do then? You may not have brought it into your table. You'll say, but how? I'll show you how. It's not a big deal at all. Right? So now if you wanted to change something, if you wanted to delete a record, so let's delete the first record, for example, for whatever. Let's delete this record. Okay. Let's delete this record. You go delete. Okay, it's deleted. While you go and look in this table, you are okay. Oh, didn't I delete it? Oh, I'll have to do a save, I think, before it shows up. Yep. So you delete it and then you go save. And that's strange. Why isn't it deleting it? No, it should be fine. Am I going right? Is that delete? Yes, it is delete. Oh, there it is. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't pressing it properly. I don't know. It just deletes it, right? Now you'll say, oh, it's gone. Yeah, but unless you do a save, this change doesn't go to your database. Keep that in mind. Okay. So delete is fine. Delete will take it from the table. I mean, from your data set, it's gone. It's gone from your data set, right? But what you will notice, since you didn't do a save, since you didn't do a save, you will notice that this has not gone to your table. You'll say, how do I check that? What you can do to do that is, I can tell you how you can do that. If you open up your, is that Server Explorer, was it? I forget where it was. Oh, yeah, here it is. Open up. If you don't have the Server Explorer, go to your Windows view and say open this window. Notice how it has a cross here. The cross says you changed something but you didn't save it. So if I run this application again, it's picking up back. It's coming back to it because I didn't save it. The deletion hasn't worked. So if you want to delete it, you have to delete it from here and remember to do a save. So delete it there and then go hit save. Okay, hit save. Then this data is also deleted from your database. Now it is deleted. So and there is no magic. I'll show you what's the code behind it. There's no magic going on anywhere. If you want to update a record, only come to it. So suppose I want to update this record, and now you can do this if you want. You can change it here. If you want to change it and just change the A from here, I just change from Mauda to Moda, and I say, so I did a change, and I'll again say save. And this change will be saved onto my database. Okay. Now, if you notice, it's not bad, but if you notice, I mean, it's bad because you can't read the complete information. So you'll say, oh, I can't see the zip here completely. I can't see the city here completely. The address is not complete here. If you like, you can do this. But I mean, that's user doing it. You know what I mean? The user has to do it. But you can also improve how it looks in the properties. And I'll show you where to do it. Okay, so we did a save, I think I did a save, and let's close it now. You will notice, where is my Server Explorer? You will see a cross here. If I go right click and I do a right click, refresh, again gets it back from the database. So you can always refresh it. You can always say, oh, go back to where you were. So if you do it again and you do a refresh and run it again, it's kind of, it's refresh just means, so because you did a save, refresh just means get it again. That's all it means. So, but if you didn't do a save and you had kind of closed your application, the refresh will get everything back too. So you have to be careful. Anytime you do an update, delete, or add, remember to save. If you're not saving it, it's not going to the database. It's as simple as that. Okay. Now, this is the data grid view. Now, the problem I'm facing here with the data grid view is I can't add a new record because this field, customer ID, is an auto increment field in my table. I know it, right? Because of course, because I've gone through the database a little, I know it. Now you'll say, what do I do? What if I don't need it? This is as simple as this. You can do this. You can, now this is the smart arrow. Do you see with your data grid view? You can click on it and here are the functions you can do. You can disable adding, but you'll say just because customer ID, I cannot provide it, I can't add a new record. I mean, that's silly. If it's an auto increment field, let me do it. Okay, so let's keep that. Editing, if you want to. So you have the option of everything. But you can also go here and say edit columns. And if you want to delete your customer ID in the display, not in the table, if you want to delete the customer ID in the display, you just remove it from here. That's it. Then now you can add a record, you don't give a value, and automatically auto increment field will take the next value. That's what it does. So let's try it. Okay, so let's remove this field and let's do an okay. Right, let's run it again. Let's add a new record. Oh, what did I do? Why do I have one back? Didn't I delete it? No, okay, give me a minute. I'm going to do a few things. Delete and save. Copy if newer. Yeah, it should work. Okay, let's add a new record now. Oh, something is not happening. I removed it. It is still coming. Server Explorer. Is the refresh causing a problem? Let's try it again. Okay, the refresh was causing a problem. That means every time will I have to refresh it? That's strange. Why am I doing that? So refresh is not just refreshing from the database. It's something to do with the application. I was still seeing the customer ID. That is strange. Give me a minute. Let me think what's happening. Because it's not as if there's no magic. There always is a solution. Okay. There is always not a solution. There is always an answer. Okay. So I'm going to delete this record and I'm going to save. Hopefully I'm doing it. I'm going to add a new record and I'm going to add my record, Anju Chawla. I'm just going to give an address that doesn't make sense, but I think it was a not null field. Now city, I'm just going to copy the same city I have here, okay? Just in case it's doing some checking. Definitely this should be in the states table. And zip code, I'll just copy it. 92707. Because I know this can be null, I'm not sure about the other fields. Okay, now let's do a save. Okay, it's coming in my data grid view. Record number 1 is gone. Copy if newer, but I've already done a save. I exit. I come back. I've done saves, and these saves are happening both ways, but definitely, oh, I think I know. Yeah, I think I know. Yep. Okay, so after you save, even then I think you have to do a refresh every time. You have to refresh it. Now run it again. So the refresh, even after save, you have to refresh it. I'm sure we can do something automatic there. Let's do a start again. No, what's the, oh yeah, okay, so one got deleted. Where am I? There it is. Yeah, you have to refresh it every time, guys. You still have to refresh it. So the saving is saving it, but the refreshing is getting it again. No, I have to read about refresh. That means I was confused about refresh. Sorry about that. Sorry of what I said then. You have to do a refresh before you run your application again. Notice my changes. The new record that I added is right here. See my name or whatever you added. Any changes that you did, I didn't do a change, but I deleted a record. I deleted the first guy's record. I can't remember the name. It did start with an M. I deleted it. Try this. Change the A. That way, at least you know you changed it. And then again, do a save. Close it. But you have to refresh it. Maybe does it? If it doesn't have a red mark, then I think we are okay. Otherwise, we have to refresh it or something. I'll have to look up. I have to look up about that. Yeah, okay. That refresh, if you don't see that cross, that means it has been done. But I think if you wait for some time, it gets refreshed or something, then it works. I didn't have to refresh this time. There was no red mark. Notice how it has changed it. And my name is still there. There I am. I deleted the first record. So everything is working okay, right? So now, if I wanted to change, so as long as you don't see the red, I think we are good. If you see it, you have to refresh it. So let's keep it open that way. Then I know when I have to refresh it. Now let's go back to where we were. Okay, so let's go to edit columns again. Now, so I removed my column. I removed the customer ID column, but that doesn't mean you can get it back. Anytime you want to add it, you can get it back. Okay, these are the columns in your table, you can get it back. So you have complete control over what's coming and what's not coming. Okay, let's cancel. Now with each of these properties, with each of these names, each of these columns, notice there are properties on the right hand side. Here, notice the properties. That's the name of the text. The header will be called name. Now, not usually, that's what you do in your tables. In your tables, you can have a column name that cannot have a blank in it. Remember your rules for forming names in a table? The names on the table, for example, these are all single. For example, zip code. Now the zip code is all together because SQL doesn't allow you to give blanks in it. But if for display purposes you needed a blank, put a blank here. This is the name that is coming in your display. You can change it here. One of the properties that you can change for zip code, I don't want to see it as zip code. I want to see it as zip blank code. Or you want to give it something else. So there is a header text. If you want to give it a tooltip text, you can give it here. So if you kind of look through it, some of them will definitely make sense to you, right? Because we've done it. You want to make something read only, make it true here. Make it true here. Now, I don't want to make any of these read only. I could have made the customer one read only. Instead of removing it, I would have come here and I would have said, make it read only. And now the user cannot do anything in it, cannot change it or anything. And that's what you want. You don't want the customer to change an auto increment field. They're called identity fields in Visual Studio. Okay. You don't want to change it. Resizable, true. So if you want to say, no, you can't change, the user cannot resize this, you can do it. You can give it your own size if you like. Sort mode automatic. What does this sort mode mean? When you click on the header, the column automatically gets sorted. I'll show you, it automatically gets sorted. From where is it coming? It's coming from zip code. What is the name of your design and all that is not so important, but there are things that you could do. Auto size mode, not set. So you can set it. Maximum width 5, width of 100. If you think in the zip code, it was fine. But if you think that this width is not enough for me, for example, where was it? Was it in name? That name was not coming properly? Change the width here. Here, let's make it 250, for example. Now the names will be bigger. So you can change your width. So these are just properties, guys, just as if it was a property of any control that you've put on your form. So now let's see, I changed the width for name to 250. Let's do an OK. Let's run again. Oh, there was a red there. It still is smaller. 250 is still not enough. Right? It is still not enough. I need more. I don't know how much it is, but you can hit and try with it. This is something I want. So it did increase it. Oh, I think maybe of refresh, do you think? Because I saw a red mark there, guys. There it is, refresh. Okay, let's try it again now. This refresh is something I'll have to go back. My thinking was if I do a save, there it is. Refresh is kind of refreshing maybe your form. I don't know, but something is happening with the refresh, right? It is refreshing any changes you made are being refreshed. So notice how I gave it a 250 is now more than enough. I could go shorter. So then the user doesn't have to do this, which the user should not do, right? So now once you give a width and you think it is okay, then you can make it fixed. Then you can say the user cannot change its width when it comes up. So these are just properties. These are just properties. And notice how I have this gray here. I have this gray because I have this gray here. That's why you can just kind of reduce the size here. So you have complete control over your data grid view. Absolutely complete control. You can decide what operation can be performed on your table. You can decide which columns will look how. So there is behavior, so resizable true from here, I'll make it false for name. And now nobody can change it. The width 250 was very big. I mean, we noticed it was big. We can go 150 and try. And now you can change it, right? The user cannot change it. Enable column reordering, I haven't done. If I do it, I'll show you what does that mean. Okay, and do an OK here. And do an OK here and refresh here. Oh, there's a refresh here. I don't have to right click. I think we just have to refresh. It doesn't say a lot about it, just says refresh. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, now this is 150, looks good enough. And notice that arrow is gone. I can resize these fields, but I cannot resize your name fields. So they're just controls. They're just controls on your form. Okay, now if you wanted, you could resize any fields you want, and then you can take up that gray space. But it's kind of untidy if you do it here. I would definitely recommend that you take care of all this in your design. So kind of look, how much do I want for address? And now reordering and the sorting that I was talking about here. The sorting works like this. Click on a column name, column heading, and it sorts. Click on it again, ascending and descending. Click on it again. So it kind of toggles between ascending and descending. I don't know how it was before. I forget now. I don't know, but it was not this way, right? It started with an M. So maybe some other field was kind of was taking care of it, or maybe zip code. I don't know. But something else was taking care of it. That doesn't matter. You're not doing anything to the table. All you're doing is what you're doing here. Now the reordering, which I set to 1, I think all you do is you take the address and kind of move it here. There, that's reordering is allowed. Right? That's reordering. So all this is under your control. But what you do, how you set the properties. Right? So see, there's no magic. Again, there is no magic. But look at the beauty of it. You made a connection to the database. You chose the tables you wanted. Then you didn't have to create your form yourself. So you have a data grid view. I'll show you more views also. And you kind of just dragged and dropped, and now you can work with it. So what are you doing? You're creating a friendly user interface for the user to work with. I would definitely make it more neater. So name looks good now. No, name doesn't look good. I'm still short. I didn't notice, but I'm still short in my name. So 150 is not enough. So you can kind of play with it. Of course, you have to play with it. Right? Now, another thing that I want you to kind of look at. If you notice here, this navigator bar is just a tool strip menu item. That's all it is. It's not a big deal. If you like, you can add an item to it. You can just add, and notice how it has shown you this. If you wanted to add a button, you could add a label, you could add a drop down button, you could add a separator. You can just add here. For example, just for the heck of it, let me add a button. Now it has an image on it. Now I don't have an image of a I'm trying to create a cancel button. So I have a save, I'm trying to do a cancel. Bless you. I'm trying to do a cancel. So if you don't want to have an image, so what does it say? The text is tool strip menu item 1. Let's change this to cancel. It's just a button, guys, just as if you would add it. Change it to cancel. If you don't want the image, but you want the text to appear, there is a property which says display style. Change it to text. There, cancel comes on the screen. If you want to keep it as an image, choose image and get a proper image for a cancel button. Usually a cancel button has the same image as delete. So, but I'm just showing you, you can add whatever you like to your tool strip. But adding doesn't only work, then you'll have to write its code. What happens when the user does a cancel, for example? Okay, but it's just a tool strip. You can just go wherever you like to any of these items. For example, save. You don't want to show an image, you want to show the text, go ahead and do it. But it already has an image. This is the image it has. If you want to change that image, go and get another one and do it. It's using an image that they already have in their project. And you'll say, how do you know it is in the project? If you go to the project and go to its properties, I'm sure the images are saved. Where was it? Where were our images? I forget now. Resources, there it is. And in resources, go to, no, I should be able to see my images, right? The images that they have saved somewhere, they have it saved somewhere for sure. Why aren't they coming up? There are strings, add a resource, access modifier. Just to give you a hint, access modifier of internal means it can be used between projects in the same solution explorer.
I think there was images under this.
Oh, was it? Did I?
No, where you are, yeah, right there.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Oh, why don't I see any then? Because this image is coming from somewhere, right? Unless it's not included in the project, they just took a local resource. But that's strange. If it was a local resource, icons maybe? No. That's strange. If I'm using something, if I'm using an image here, kind of think about it. If I'm using an image here, it's coming from a system.drawing.bitmap. Oh, it's already it's in a predefined package, system.drawing. No, it doesn't look like. Let me see what they're saying. It just says it belongs to the bitmap class. So is it something that's already there? No, I don't know. Image align, but there. Oh. So it's coming from this class. System.drawing.bitmap is a class, right? It's a namespace is system.drawing.bitmap. But I don't know. I'm not aware. I could look it up. I'm sure. I mean, there's no magic again going on. So there is already an image defined there. So therefore, it's not in my resources or anything. It's not in my resources. Is it defined there? Kind of seems odd. But let's see, show all files. And where can the images be? The images can be resources. The only place I can think of is here. Where else could they have it? I don't see a resources folder. No, that's just a designer file. So do you think, I mean, that's the only logical thinking I'm doing. Is it already defined there? Because it's not in my resources folder. It's not in my project. I'm sure it has to be somewhere then. Because, I mean, it's all where it is, right? Similarly here, it's using an image here also. And it's also coming from that class, I'm sure. Yep. This image that will be displayed on the item. So I'm assuming that there are some images in that bitmap folder or package, right? That's my thinking. Okay, so you can add your own buttons or whatever you like. Notice there are a few options. You can add a button, you can add a label, a split button, a drop down button, a separator, a combo box, text box, anything that you want here. But that doesn't, like, once you add it, then you double click on it and you can create its, you can create its, you can create its code, the event handler. So if for whatever reason, and I'll show you, it's not so, cancel is not so difficult at all. I'll show you how to do it. Cancel just means that whatever changes the user have made, cancel them. And it's a very simple method call. It's called end edit and it's done. But before I go there, I want you to kind of double click on the form. So be careful that you double click on the form. If you click somewhere else, then all you have to do is remove it. So double click on the form and open, or you could have say, show me the code file. That's another way you could do it. Okay, so let me show you something now. That something is not what is happening. Why, how come the form, how come the table that you have, the data grid you have got populated? This is the statement. That's it. So the fill method of the customer table adapter. Notice I showed you the table adapter gets the data from the table and fills it up. So the fill method of the customer, of this customer's table adapter object, which you have in a component tray, is bringing the data from the table. Now, for whatever reason, if you don't want that table to fill up when the program loads, remove it from here and it won't show. Now, that's not what you want to do, but that's what you can do. Okay, now, so this, and what is happening in save? Let's see what happens when you save it. When you save it, any validate procedure, so it's validate is just a method call which says verifies the value of the control before and after it loses focus. We haven't used it, we are not doing any validation, but it's there for you to use. And then what does it do? It ends your edit. Ends edit means applies pending changes to the underlying data source. Notice what is my data source? My database. So that's why I said when you hit save, changes are done to your database. Now, if I didn't want to do an end edit, but I wanted to do a cancel, instead of end edit, I think it's called cancel edit. So in my cancel button, I can very easily, I can't remember it off my head, but I'm almost positive it's called cancel edit. All you have to do is you just have to write its code, the event handler, and in it, all you do is dot cancel edit. I'm almost positive I'm right. It's just a method. So instead of end edit, if it was a cancel edit, you can just, all you have to say is this dot customer binding source dot cancel edit. And I'll try it for you. It's not a big deal at all. And then what does the manager do? Manager does an update all. It says if there are any foreign key constraints in your database, I'm going to handle them. So these statements are what have been put for you. Now, unfortunately, this is all it does. It doesn't do any kind of exception handling or anything at all for you. It doesn't do anything. But you'll say, are there exceptions? For your information, there are 3 sets of exceptions that can come when you're working with a database. Because you're working with 3 layers, kind of. You're working with the .NET provider, you're working with the ADO.NET, and you're also working on the client machine with SQL. So you could have exceptions because of something happened in your data provider, right? You could have exceptions because something happened in your ADO.NET method calls, or there is something that happened in your own SQL statements. So what are these classes? So if you notice, these are the exception classes. SQL exception if you're using my MS SQL data provider. ODBC exception class if you're using the ODBC provider. And OLEDB if you're using the one. Now, so I should know how to handle these, which I will. It is not a big deal. And here are the properties. You can get the message of the exception. You can get the type of the exception. Sometimes if you have more than one errors, the errors are saved in an array called errors. You can have a whole list of errors, right? Secondly, so here is an example, and I'll do it with you. What am I going to do? I'm going to put this try catch block also in my code. So just do it. So that way, so take this, when you load it, put it in a try. You can remove this line because it doesn't look too neat to me. So you can remove it if you like it said in your comment that if you don't need it, that's not what you want, remove it. And I'll show you when you won't need it. So put this in a try block. So you're trying to load the data, right? And what can happen? You could have, in this case, so bring your mouse to your fill method, right? It says it is an int. Oh, it doesn't show me the exceptions. But anyway, okay, so there is, I'm going to catch any kind of SQL exception. Oops. I'm going to add any kind of SQL exception that can occur. Maybe include it. Show potential fixes. Oh, using, yeah, we forgot that. There it is. Remember I had said in the slide, it said, please do using. Bring your mouse over it and do a potential fix. It uses data system dot SQL client or whatever. So an SQL exception may occur. You can give it a name if you like, because I don't know what kind of exception has occurred. I'm going to show a message box like we usually do. I'm going to use the show method. And now since I don't know what happened, I'm just going to show this. I'm going to say database error number. And notice I said there are properties with it. You can pick it up. It's not a big deal. You can pick up the error. The error number can be got by ex dot, the method is called number. Not the method, the property is called number. There it is. So I don't know what error occurred. It's an SQL error. And why do these errors occur? Because these are just data providers, and we can know of all the exceptions that can occur. So I'm showing the number. All you will do is you will Google it and see, oh, this is the error that has occurred, and that's how you see it. So you can show the error number if you like. You can also show the message if you like. And all you have to do is we'll kind of put a colon here just because it will be neater. And then show the ex.message. Remember, there was a message element also. So I'm showing the number and I'm showing the message. You can also show the type. All this I'm getting from that slide that I just saw, guys. These are all methods and properties of your EX. And it's a type. Change it into a string. It's not a string. So I'm going, basically what have I done? I've given you a message. You can show your buttons and all that. You can always show your buttons. Remember, we have message box buttons dot, I don't know, okay. Should be good enough. And then message box dot icon, error icon, and you're good enough there. So it will say, as a message, it will say database error number, and I don't know what the error number is, but we can always get it. From where do you get it? From this data, the exception object which was thrown. If you want to show the message to the user, show the message also. Messages are not always clean, but at least something. Then get the type of the error. What is the runtime type of the current instance, and then change it into a string. Here. So you have, now you've taken care of if this fill creates a problem, any problem. And this is the only kind of exception that can occur when you do the fill. It's an exception on the provider side. Just catch it. And since we don't know what kind, we just show its number and we just show its message. Job done, Spencer?
When I put EX in, it says it doesn't exist.
Did you put EX here with your name of the exception? Yeah, because if it doesn't have a name, then it says I cannot find it. And don't call it E, because remember, E is already an argument here. So I don't use E because E is already being used as an argument name. So therefore I go EX. So there, now I'm okay, at least I'm safe now. And this is what it is telling you, how to catch these exceptions here. It's telling you how to catch the exceptions here. So this is how you catch exceptions that deal with your SQL provider. And how do I know? Because I know the fill method belongs to the table adapter, and table adapter was an object of my class from previous slides, just because I've read the slides a couple of times. Okay, now I've taken care of those exceptions, anything that can occur there. But I said there were 3 groups of exceptions. Now exceptions can also occur on the ADO.NET stage, right? The connection, the APIs. And these are the exceptions that can occur. You can have a concurrency exception. I'll show that to you right away. You can have a data exception, you can have a constraint exception, and you can have a no null allowed exception. Remember, we saw the no null. When I ran it, I didn't give a value in the address field, it came up with the no null. It wasn't too bad. It was coming as a dialog box. It wasn't too bad, but it had so much on it that a common user wouldn't know what it says. So if you want to make it neat again, catch all these 4 type of exceptions and your job is done. Right? So I'll show you where to catch these exceptions. Okay. And then, so here is an example, and I'll catch it for you. Okay. So it says if you catch the DB concurrency and they've caught the data exception, but you can catch all of them, constraint exception, no null allowed conception, everything can be caught. They've just given an example of 2. And then on the third side, there could be exceptions due to the data grid control that you're using. Where do you, what, and it only gives one kind of except. That is the only event that can occur with it is a data error exception. It's an event, right? You have to code the code for this event. So this is the event that can happen. And the three properties of this event are exception, row index, and column index. You can exactly find out which row, which column is giving me an error. So I'll show you how to do this also. Once you can handle all three stages, exceptions at all three stages, your job is done, right? So as per se, nothing was done for me. But I mean, when I say nothing, I don't mean nothing. No exception handling was done for me. But if you want, you can just add it. It's just code, nothing else. So for example, let's add some here. Okay, so I've already added in the load method. I already added this following what they told me to do in the slide. So I know what to do. Now in the save one, they're saying add something in the save also. So, and where does this problem occur? This save item, when you do a save item, these exceptions are thrown by the ADO.NET layer. So that's what I'm going to add now. Okay, so what will I do? I'll go a try. Not be validated, these throw exceptions, okay? And remember to close your try here, there. So the end edit and the update all, the customer binding source and the table adapter manager are under ADO.NET. Okay, you can always find out who's under what by of course Googling it or looking at my slides, whatever works for you. Okay, so now what am I going to catch? Remember it had 4 or 5. You can do all of them if you like. There was an argument exception. I can't remember all of them, but there were 5. I can go back and look at them. So there was an argument exception. So when will this be caught? If you want to keep a note for yourself, when will this happen? When will I have an argument exception? If the maximum length of a column it's just an example, a value that's beyond the maximum length. So you're trying to, and I'll show you how it works. Bless you. I didn't do it for you, but try to put something in a column. A value that's beyond the maximum length of a column. That's when it is thrown. Of course, it's not being caught right now. Let me show you. It's not being caught right now. I'm just going to remove it for a minute, okay? I'll show you that it will be thrown. Okay, see, let me show it to you. Oh, let me refresh. Okay, let me run it for you. Oh, build errors. Oh, sorry, no. What did I miss? Try. There. Are we okay now? Okay. This is strange. Every time it needs a refresh, even though I just make some change in my code, also it needs a refresh, guys. Okay, now try to do this. Let's try to update this. And I'm just going silly, okay? I don't know what the length of my name is, but can be that much, right? So I just put in a lot of A's, and now I'm trying to do a save. See, I got an exception. So what does it say? It says system argument exception cannot set column name. The value violates the maximum length limit of this column. So you'll say that's good enough for a user. But notice after that, there are so many other things that doesn't make sense to the user. So this box is not too bad. It's not too bad for us, to programmers, but to a user, it's bad. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to close this. I'm going to refresh it just because I have to do it every time. And now I'm going to add this catch. And what will I do it in this catch? Give a prettier message. That's what catches do. Give prettier messages. Okay, so what do you want to catch this exception? Let's call it, just so that I can remember names, argument exception EX. What would you like to do? I don't know. Give of course, not I don't know. I mean, give a message box. So let's go message box.show. Right? So give a message box.show, and then you can, again, if you like, though it's kind of, that message wasn't bad. Remember, it says the value of name is going beyond. That message wasn't bad at all. So let's show that message. I don't have to make up my own message because it was a completely good message, not this exception message. And that was a good enough. I don't want to show the rest of the crap, but that's okay. You can give a title like argument exception, because I don't know where it occurred. I can't say name. It could be anything, but it will tell you what field it was. Remember, it said name was too long or something. And now what I can do is, of course, these are buttons. This is not what I was talking about, but anyway, these are just your buttons, your icons and all that, which you are familiar with now. Okay. And what I can do is that something I was talking about. I want to cancel this edit that I did. So you did a change, you clicked on save, but I don't want to, so I gave you this exception, but remember, as soon as you click on save, the connection is made. It makes the connection with the database. All I'm telling it to do is cancel that. And this is how you do it. Take your customer binding source, there it is, and cancel your edit. That's the method I was talking about. This is a method you can also put in your cancel button. And you will put in the cancel. Oh, come on. And there it is. Here. So cancel the edit. If everything goes well, it will end the edit. If no error occurs, it will end the edit. If something occurs, it will cancel the edit. And this is the code that you will also put in your cancel button. You just cancel the edit. That's what happens with the cancel. Okay. Okay. So this is one catch. You could do as many catches as you like. You can catch another exception. Oh, this one is an important one. Let's definitely add this one, and I'll show you that it works, how it works. To take this exception, DB concurrency exception. This is an important one. You can call it whatever you like again, or I don't know. So DB concurrency exception. I'm just making up names, guys. Remember, so this is an exception that occurs when two people try to update it at the same time. And let's do a message box. And I know it's a concurrency error. So I can say something. I can give my own message now. I'm not too bad with it. I can say a concurrency exception occurred or error occurred. For the user, you can just use the word error. So whenever a concurrency error occurs, the operation is not completed. Like if you were trying to update, it won't be done. If you were trying to add, it won't be done. Like whatever. So it doesn't occur. It doesn't happen. That's what a concurrency error is. So you're showing a message to the user, and you can in this message itself, you can say something like updation didn't work or whatever you want to say. Row was not updated, or updation deletion failed. Update or delete failed. Can add fail? Can add fail? If in our case it won't, because the customer ID number is auto increment. In our case it won't. So, but in other cases, if two people try to add and give the same customer ID, it could fail. I'm kind of writing it here, but in our case, add will not create a problem. Just because, remember that field is auto increment. So if two people are adding the same record, but because they get different customer IDs from the system, for us, it won't be a problem. I mean, it is a problem, but it won't be a concurrency problem. And then again, you can give whatever message you like. I don't know, what would you like to say? Or you can just say not updated, update failed. Update automatically means, I mean, I'm kind of keeping a general message because it may happen, it depends upon application. And then, I don't know, you could say something like concurrency exception or concurrency error in your title bar, and the rest is up to you. The rest are just buttons. There. So concurrency error, you don't even go to the edit stage. You don't even go there, I think. You can do it. It can be done. Okay, now if the concurrency error occurred, that means you made changes. Think about what happened. You made changes to your local copy, but these local copy changes were not transferred to the database, cannot be transferred. So what do you want to do? You want to revert back to the old copy in your data set, but you've already saved the changes in your data set. So you have to do what? Fill it back again. Fill it back again. And how will you do it? Fill it back again. So keep in mind what you have to do if these exceptions occur. So fill it back again. So this dot, you will use the customer table adapter as you were doing, where it is, there it is. So fill it again. I could have another try in it because the fill also gives a problem. Remember, you can actually copy this code. This is what I'm doing. So keep in mind, why am I doing it? Why did I do this? You had made the changes. You had made the changes to your data set, right? You made the changes and now you hit save. It went to save, but there was a concurrency error. So the cancel edit is not what we need here. What we need is these changes in the data set should be reverted back. So how do you revert it back? Bring it back from the tables again. Same thing that you did in load. So the changes are lost. Of course, concurrency error means the changes cannot be made. Okay, so bring them back. So what needs to be done here? You fail the edit, you cancel the edit. What needs to be done here? Bring it back to stage 1. Okay. Oh my God, there is so much to do. And then again, there were more. I'll kind of write the data exception because it takes care of the others ones also, as far as I remember. Take your data exception, give it a name, data exception EX. Just give your message, okay? Because I don't like data exception means any kind of data exception in your ADO net. So I'll take this message box.show just because it's easy. I don't have to type, except that I won't say AE, I'll say data error. So this data error takes care of everything. And again, you can show the message, you can show the type, you can show whatever you like. Oops. Get its type. The get type is a useful one. It converts it into a string, and it's not a bad one. It gives you the name of the. Come on. If you bring your mouse over it, it gives you the type of the runtime exception. Here, see, gets the runtime type of the current instance. So what error you got? So whatever is the name of the exception will come up. And since it is an exception type, you have to convert it into a string. There it is. So I've kind of not written all 5, but the data one has to. Oh, and don't forget this. Don't forget this. There. So in a way, you're kind of doing a cancel edit here also, but in terms of cancel edit, you also have to fill it back. So the fill kind of cancels your edit. So don't forget that you have to cancel your edits. Now this kind of tells you, and now what I can do is I can also do this, because I've done fills inside it. I can put another try if I want, or you know what? Just add another catch. That way I'm kind of safe. Here, remember I did a fill, and that fill can throw an exception too. So the regular ones, the SQL exceptions that you caught here, take this catch and put it here. Now I'm safe. I've taken care of everything. So why SQL exception here? Because I've used this fill method, guys. This fill method throws it. So I've done argument exception, concurrency. I've left out a few, I'm sure, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. I think the data exception takes care of everything. So I've done concurrency, I've done data. I haven't done these two because I think it is taken care by data exception, if I can remember correctly, and I don't think I'm wrong. There it is. So now we're okay. So now you could do this. You could go to your design. Remember how you created this cancel button? Double click on it. And all you have to do here is, where is it? Here. Oops. So if the user hits the cancel button, there. Cancel the edit. That's all you have to do in the cancel button. As far as I make sense to me. I'm not sure. Will we have to fill it back? Let's try. If we have to, we'll fill it back. And we'll know if we have to fill it back. We'll know. Okay, let's try this, guys. I'm trying the cancel button. The rest was always working. I mean, you can throw exceptions and see or whatever, but it will take care now. This may not occur ever. Like we may not be able to see this because this is something that's, I don't know, if you're maybe SQL server lost a connection, something to do with your server. So maybe we cannot replicate, show this one, duplicate this one, but let's see the cancel one. I'm kind of, okay, so let's try to make a change. Let's do an AA for whatever reason, right? And let's do a cancel. Okay, so that's fine. The end edit is working. I don't have to refill. It just removes whatever I was doing. Okay, so that works. Cancel works. Let's try this. I'm not sure. Will it? Oh, once I do delete, how can I do cancel? Cancel only works when you try to update something. Okay, it won't work otherwise. I don't think it will work otherwise. Doesn't make sense. Yep, cancel will only work for editing. So, but if you don't save it, then nothing gets cancelled. Did it have my, oh, refresh is back to where it was. Guys, something is happening here with refresh that I'm confused about, I must admit. After I made changes, my record is gone. But I did a save, it should go. Notice how my record is not there. So there is something with refresh that I'm not clear about. I thought I was, but after I've seen this behaving a little differently. My record got added. I was able to add a new record. I was able to save it. Once I do a refresh there, so there is something that's not clear here. This is my server explorer. If I do a refresh, does it bring the data back from the database? Is what I said the first time I said it, right? Copy if newer. Guys, I'll have to Google this refresh. I'm kind of confused with this refresh button in my server window. Server. So when I do a refresh, it will refresh the contents. It doesn't say anything. All it says is refresh. Is it filling the data again? If it is filling the data again, I was able to see my changes for a while and now they are gone. Yep, okay, I'll have to think about it, guys. I'll have to. Okay, I don't have much time, but let me do a few more things with you. So I showed you a data grid view. I'm not done yet. You'll say, what if I don't want to see a data grid view? Are there other views? Do this quickly. Add another Windows form. Please call it details. So till we saw the data grid, now just add another Windows form, right? And call it details. So instead of data grid, I'm calling it details. Details form. I'll show you what this means, okay? For a minute, give me 1 minute and do an add. I've got another form. I'll show you another way that I can work with it. So if you say, I don't want to see it in a data grid view, not like a table, can you show me one record at a time? I mean, if you want to, you can do that too. You can see one record at a time. Now, this is how you see one record at a time. Go to your customers table and instead of data grid view, choose details. Right? You can also change, just for your information, you can also change the type of any of these fields under your table. For now, they are text boxes, but notice I can make them a label, a list box, a combo box. I can do anything with them. So if the user wants to add a new record and he or she doesn't remember the name of the state, who can remember what's the code or whatever, you can make it a combo box and populate this combo box from your other table. I'll show you how you can do that too. So make your state a combo box. Just change it. I mean, if you don't want to for now, you can, it's not a big deal. I mean, you can leave it at text box, but you can do it afterwards also. So let's do this. All I did, do one bit at a time maybe. Take your customers and from details view, change it to, from data grid view, change it to details view. That's what I've done. I've made that change, okay? Now, again, drag and drop. See the difference? Now, instead of getting a grid view, I have a detail view, one record at a time. And you can make it as pretty as you want or as bad as you want. When I say as pretty, you can increase the size of your boxes. You can decrease the size of your form. You can do whatever you like. You can give it a heading if you want, whatever. With a navigator bar, you usually don't. You can add a menu. You can do whatever you like. So for example, if you wanted to show the address, city, and state together, maybe you could put the city here. Maybe you could put the state here. You can kind of put them together. Nothing stops you, right? You can do whatever you like. They're just controls, guys, nothing else. They're just controls. So I'll do a control Z because I forget what I moved where. There, right? But if you want it, you can do whatever. If you want to change the size, take this property and you want to make it read only, open its property, go to its, remember customer ID was that auto increment field. So I'm not removing it. I'm just changing its read only property to true. Now the user cannot make a change to it. That's another way. Instead of removing it, you can just make it read only. You can give all these a better size. So maybe I'll do it till address because I want to show you something else. Here, let's give it a different size. Now you can do this. You can move your state here if you like. You know the states are only 2-lettered abbreviations. Make it smaller. You can move your zip code here if you like. It's kind of fitted well. And we'll see if the values are okay. You can remove these labels, but before I remove this label, I'll go to this label. And here I'll say city, comma, state. It's just a form, a zip. And then I'll put my colon. There. I'll change its label and I'll remove these labels. Whatever you like. It's just a form. The easy part is they're so, like, you've done it so easily. You didn't have to kind of one at a time. You didn't have to, oh, this is being included because it's just a little bigger. So I'm going to take it a little towards the right, just because it was kind of coming with the whole thing. I couldn't select it. I'll take this. I'll show you how to make that state here, see, much neater. There it is. And again, it has behind the scenes done a lot of things. No exception handling, nothing has been done, which we can do. Plus, let me show you something else also. And you can always do this, guys. Whatever you need, you can take this and you can say center in the screen. There. Everything that you've done with forms is you can do here. I'm going to do something for you. You can take, so every customer has invoices related to him or her. You can actually take the invoices table from here in a grid view, right? Just because that's what I want, and put it here. And I'll do this. Anytime I show a customer information, I'll show the information about the invoices for him too. I can remove the customer ID from here. I don't need it here. Go to this table, go to this data grid view, go to your edit columns and remove your customer ID because it's up there, right? And remove it. The table kind of looks smaller because my information is missing. Go here, remove, increase it there. And I don't know how it will look like. There are so many things you can do. I'm just trying to show you that in the same form, I've also kind of put the invoices related to a customer. But right now they're not connected. I'll show you what I mean by not connected, and I'll show you how you can connect them then. Okay. So what did I do? I took the customer table and I added it in a details view on my form. In the same form, I took the invoices table and I connected it. I put it as a data grid view on the table. You can do all the fashion that you want with this. For example, if in this one you don't want the user to allow any editing or enabling, because you shouldn't, right? These are invoices that are already done. But if you don't want to, you can just remove it if you like. So you can do everything that you did before with the data grid view. Now I want to show you the connection, and I'll show you how to do something else also. It never ends. But anyway, it's not as if, it's not that we can't handle it. We can handle it. It's not a big deal. Okay. Now when I run it, see when I run it, what happens. So just give it a start. Oh, sorry, it won't work because I forgot to change this. Go to your program.cs, please. And notice, I would definitely recommend you looking at the AP config where the connection was made. But that's something I've already told you about, that's where the connection is saved for you. If you knew a little bit of programming with ADO.NET, you could go and change it there yourself. But anyway, let's come back here just because now I'm in a hurry. Go to your program.cs, please, and change it from data grid view form. You don't want this form to come up. You want the other form, and that other form was called details. Since I have a multi-form project here and I'm kind of trying to use them independently, I want this form to come up. So go to your, see that you give it the same name that you gave here. I called it details form, and save it and run it now. Now the form will come up. Okay, see that? Oh, I didn't do any centering or anything, guys. Pardon me for that. I don't have time. Notice what it is doing. For customer 1, it is showing you the invoices. But these invoices seem as if they are for everybody. Customer 2, I still see the same invoices. Customer 3, I still see the same invoices. That's not what you want. You only want to see the invoices related to a customer in that table. Otherwise, they're two independent tables, kind of, right? Yes.
I'm already doing that.
By magic, cannot happen by magic. It shouldn't do it automatically. So let me see, maybe. No, it shouldn't, right? Doesn't make sense. It shouldn't. So you're only seeing what's related to that table.
Yeah.
Uh,
For the customer.
so customer 1's invoices, customers 2 invoices and all that?
Yeah, well, I'm not seeing any until customer 10.
Oh, you know what you did? I think I know what you did. And that was a smarter move than what I did. Okay, did you do this? In your, when you created your form, did you drag, did you
Yeah.
drag this invoice?
Yeah.
Exactly. Of course you're smarter, right? If you draw this invoices table, here it will only show you for a particular customer. Makes sense. I was trying to just bring it and then I was trying to write code for it. Of course that's much better. So this is what you did, and that's of course is much smarter. Instead of bringing this invoices table, if you bring this invoices table here, then by default, of course, it will only show you those that are, and that's what we wanted. I was only trying to do it through code. And I can show you, though I don't have time now. So I'll kind of maybe take your idea right now because there's nothing wrong in your idea. I was just trying to show you more code. That's all I was trying to do. It can be done through code also. Maybe next time, or I don't know, who knows. Anyway, this is what you can do too. So don't drag this invoices table. Remember, so they're not two different tables, but this connection is saying that when you bind it, only show me those invoices that are related to this customer. And it makes sense. Of course, it makes sense. I drew this one, and then now I was going to, my next step was trying to write code for it. But maybe because I don't have enough time, I'll go with this now. Now try to run your application. So I didn't do anything, guys, but I would definitely recommend that you do everything, like in the sense, start from the center of the form and make it a suitable size or whatever. Okay, let's try it now. And look at the beauty of it. Why do more work if it can be done, right? So one has no invoices, it seems.
You have to wait till like number 7 or something.
Oh, okay, so they had no invoices till 7?
Or 8 or one of them, like,
Mine doesn't look up. Something is wrong in mine. Did I make a mistake? What do you think I did? This should come up automatically now.
Go to customer number 10. He's got invoices.
He's got invoices?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so some customers don't have invoices. Okay, I'm thinking now I haven't done anything. I have to just take the table, right? Okay, and I don't know who else has it, but of course you can go one by one and see. So if customers don't have it, they won't show up. For example, one didn't have it. One didn't have any. So you can kind of now, since we've been given this information, 10 has it from Josh, we can just show 10. And you can try to show a few more. So that it should do it automatically, and it is doing it automatically, right? So see how easy it is. And again, notice I have all the option, guys. But another thing I did was I changed this to read only instead of, because if I remove it, then I don't see the customer number. So I made it read only so that the user cannot make any changes to it. I don't know what will happen in add now. Let me try what will happen in add, because if I have to add a new record, what happens? But you still have that navigator up. You can still do your adds, deletes, whatever. You can still update. Everything can be done unless you say I don't allow it. So I don't think we allowed it in the invoice table. I forget now. I think I removed it. But let's see what happens in add. I'm kind of inquisitive with add now because that's a read only one. So when I do add, I'm at 696. Oh, it still is doing a -1.
Maybe you should increment it. Increment the ID.
It's an auto increment field.
Oh.
It is. That's why it gave me an error when I was trying to put the data into it. I thought it would be smart if no, read only is not doing that. I'll still have a problem. I cannot add it. I won't be able to add it because I can't change this anyway. It's a read only field. Okay. So there has to be some way of, if I remove it, I'm okay. If the field is not available at all, I'm fine. But if I have it, it won't let me do it. Let's see. Oh, you know what it did? Okay, let's try. Let's try Anju. I was thinking that it would be smart enough to, oh, now I can't remember my states. Any state that you can remember, guys? I think CA should be a valid state. City, I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this should go. Let's save it. Oh, something, no null. Oh, some field. Which field didn't? Where did I leave it null? Name does not allow nulls. I gave Anju in it. Oh, so something is not working with the read-only field. Oh. So add is not working as. So there are some issues here, guys, because I'm dealing with two tables now. If I add a new record and I give my name, I'm sure I gave a name, I gave an address to, I gave a city, I can't remember, but I did something like this. And I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I disable editing in this, and I'm saying, because I've involved two tables, maybe that's what is causing something different. I'm okay this time. I thought I gave my name last time also. Try to add another one. Oh, I added an empty record. Okay, that's what happened. Okay, I hit it twice. So I think it's getting added. Let's stop this. Let's say start again. Now start again. Anju got added 696. No, Anju didn't get added. So there was a problem somewhere. Oh, I'll have to play with it a little. Add a new Anju record. Address, city. State may give me a problem, guys. That's why I'm hoping CA is a valid state, because there's a referential integrity going on there. And I say save. It gave me a customer ID of 701. Or maybe because I added before also, right? I've added my records in my data grid view also. So it is okay. It is fine. Now if I close this, so this data got added. And here is where the refresh is giving me a hard time, right? So records are being added. I have a 701. If I close this and I come back again without doing a refresh, I am not refreshing it for a minute, okay? I still see 697. Move last. Oh, so there are records. So what's happened before this? Okay, so my record did get added. The only thing is, where are all the data changes I made with my detail view? Okay, this refresh has to be kind of looked into, guys. I'm sorry. I thought I knew what was going on. Let's try this again. So there are 697. My record did get added. So what is this refresh doing? It seems to be working fine either way. But we did have some problems with it. I'll have to look into it. Okay, so the data is getting added. Of course, I don't have any invoices, so nothing comes up. Let's try this. Let's go back to the grid view, the form. And I'm sure now there is another question that's coming to my mind right now when I'm doing it. Where is your details form here? I did have enable editing. Oh, so I can make changes to anything and it will go to the right one. Please notice something else also, guys. When you have two tables there, you have a customer's binding navigator and an invoices binding source too. Oh, sorry, source customers binding source and an invoicing binding source too. Both are available. So both of them have the same navigator, but that navigator, oh, there is another one. What is this called? No, that's the binding source. This is because I had brought my table twice. I'm kind of just now when I saw it, I'm kind of thinking the navigator is called customer binding navigator, but anything that I do in add doesn't make, okay, we can try it. What's so big thing too? Customer number 10 had an invoice, right? Okay, customer number 10 had an invoice. So let's go to 10, guys. Let's go to 10. And let's try to make a change here. Now where can we make a change? Maybe in shipping. Sales tax. We can do it anywhere actually. I mean, you can't do it in invoice ID and customer ID. Those are primary keys. Let's not do it there. Let's try to do something here. So let's change it to from, just for the heck of it, 705. I've changed for customer 10. I've just changed the shipping. I've added 5 cents to it. I'm going to do an add. Oh, not add, sorry, save. Okay, it shows here. Let's close it. So it's working for both. The navigator is working for both. Okay, these changes must come in the other table also. Let's start it again without refreshing. Let's go to the guy 10 again. Yeah, the changes are there. So the navigator is working. You can make changes anywhere you want. Now, the only question that remains is that refresh button. If refresh, according to me, should get everything back from your database, then I shouldn't see these changes. My name should be gone and these changes should be gone. Oh, they are. So it is right. I was right the first time. I don't know. I must have not clicked the button properly. Refresh means get it back from the database. Right? So my name is gone now. Because refresh means refresh it back, bring it back to where it was. So I was okay. So I don't have to do a refresh every time then if I want to save my changes. See, I'm gone. There is no 697. But I'll still read about it and make it very clear next week, because now I'm kind of a little confused myself. I have to play a little more with it to see what is refresh doing. So if refresh is doing this, that which means the save has not saved it. So something is going on. Is the refresh only doing it from the data set or from the original table?
Why is the summarization 699 and that's 697?
Because I added a few records. Maybe that's why. Oh, you think? Oh, do you think? But I didn't make any change to this guy at all. I didn't make any change because maybe I was, no, but that doesn't make sense. So this says this is record 694. So now that's a question that I can't even remember. I can change my database and again see, was this from the beginning, right from day one, their customer, the record number didn't match? I don't know. I really don't know. I didn't pay attention to that. So one had one. So till here we were okay. So I don't know where it kind of got. It's such a long one. I don't know. But I can double check to see. I know what you're saying. You're saying the 696 record should have 6. Why does it have 699 in it? Was it done before or after? I'm not so sure what's going on here. Okay, so the only thing that I'm a little confused myself, and sorry if I've confused you also, is about the refresh button. Even if I do a refresh, I've said copy if newer. Maybe copy if newer only works when I close the whole project. So I have to read about these couple of things, right? And I'll let you know. So I'm going to close this. I'm going to save everything. I'm going to go to my Windows Explorer, sorry, Team Explorer, and just do a changes, save the changes. And I'll just say, I don't know, I added more code, added data grid and details view. So I haven't shown you how to work with the combo box because that just needs a little more time. Do a commit all, do a sync, and do a push. So this is all on GitHub, guys. Okay, it's called database example. I think I did put a dash Wednesday on it. Yeah, I will. I will. I just want to leave the room because I can see people outside, but I will. You can open the door, please. Spencer can, just so that they know that we are not hogging them. Thank you. So I just have to read a little and I will, and I'll kind of clarify this.